Hey guys, MTBtrigger here. Let's talk about the forklift spawn on Factory. This is one of the most dangerous spawns on Factory in my opinion. So we're going to go over how to identify the spawn location, assess immediate threats, possible mid-round rotations, and we'll also cover various strategies for this spawn location. This is part of a Factory spawn clearing series. So if you're finding this video first, make sure to check the description for the full list of Factory spawns and the overall strategy video. So let's get into it. Let's identify the spawn. I like this spawn because it's easy to quickly differentiate it from the other spawns. You'll see a large metal red wall that has a door on the right-hand side of the wall. It's the only one with a right-hand side door. That's basically all you need to know, which is good, because if you get this spawn, you have to move quickly to threat detection depending on which playstyle you prefer. Again, this spawn is probably the most dangerous one on the map. There are immediate threats on both sides of the spawn, and any enemy PMC who spawns at them will not have immediate threats. So they'll be looking towards you. So be ready. Remember, right door red, 2 threats. The first threat is the easiest to check. As you are leaving the spawn room, you will enter the forklift room. Basically, it is a relatively open room with various vehicles that can be used as cover. The threat comes from a long hallway that is straight ahead when you leave the room and slightly to the left. Think 11:30 when you leave the door. This is referred to commonly as the glass hallway. PMCs can spawn just outside of this area or on the other side of the 2 boxes stacked on top of each other in the actual hallway. Typically, someone that spawns here is going to run away. Often they'll run to the office because it is the best loot runner spawn. Or they will charge down the hallway towards you, or they'll try to hold an angle trying to catch you crossing or peeking at them. The second immediate threat is down the hallway to the left when you exit the spawn room. Think 10 o'clock and a dog leg left. PMCs that spawn here will often push into the connecting hallway and start throwing grenades, or they're going to attempt to cut off your push by getting an angle before you can get around the corner and get in position. Of the 2 immediate threats, this one has an easier time getting a good position over you, so try to be very aware of noise on your left as you leave the spawn room. Things to be mindful of from this spawn: be aware of grenades, and also be thinking about trying to stay away from the right wall as you exit the spawn room. I find it can be very easy to think about cutting off the glass hallway push by holding an angle on the right, but this leaves you extremely vulnerable to grenades on that wall. You're also leaving yourself open to the second threat shooting you while you're rotating up that wall. They're going to have a very clean angle at you if you're on the right wall. Additionally, if the glass hallway PMCs take a wide rotation and they move through the open area outside of the spawns, you can be seen through the windows that are in the glass hallway, giving them an easy vantage point looking through those small squares. Alright, let's talk about specific strategies for this spawn, and we'll think about it from a few different perspectives and playstyles. The silent, think assassin and not making a lot of noise. The strategic, take advantageous positions and hold them. And the challenger approach, aka W and Shift key activated all the time. If you're going to take the silent approach, this might be the most challenging spawn to do that because anyone who spawns close to you will almost certainly check this spawn room. One option is to remain completely still and listen at the start of the match. This can allow you to hear if there are players coming from either immediate threat. If you hear both, they'll probably fight, giving you a chance to be the third party to a gunfight. If it's just one, be prepared for grenades or someone to rush in. The boxes on the left can protect you from a grenade or flashbang being thrown in, but you have to move, aka making noise to get there. If you hear enemies run away from you in the direction of the office, or you were able to kill the PMCs that came to your spawn, you can do one of my favorite maneuvers, which is to slow walk up the stairs outside of the spawn, and then use that catwalk creeping towards the office on the highest floor, aka those rafters, and hold the angle near the metal platform looking through the breezeway. If PMCs don't close the door to the breezeway from the office, you can actually see the rotations happening from the left or the right as players move around the office. You do need to be aware of scavs up here moving in behind you, but going prone on the metal platform can be an effective scav deterrent. Now let's cover the strategic approach, aka taking ground and holding it. For this spawn, this is my strategy of choice. It's very effective for setting up a farming spot if you're going to stay after you clear the spawns and kill scavs, and there are nearby choke points that can be very valuable to control. I prefer to sprint quickly to hold a position, gather info by quickly listening and looking at the other spawns, and then start moving up and taking ground based upon the info that I've gathered. There are a number of good holds in the middle of the forklift room, but I like to sprint out of the spawn room, slightly to the left towards the pillar, and then use a right lean to take a glance down at glass hallway. After checking to see if there's a PMC charging, I will look further down the hall to see if I can see a PMC that is still standing behind the two boxes. If you have any zoom on your scope at all, you can actually look between the two stacked boxes on the right of the glass hallway for a PMC that's standing there. Do not be afraid to shoot and flush them out. While doing this, I'm listening for shuffling and movement noises on the left. When holding this pillar, I operate under the assumption that somebody is on the left, and there are two spots that players will like to hold in that area if they don't charge towards you. One is in the spawn location. It is very common to have somebody spawn in to your left at that threat location and not make any noise. The other is actually more dangerous in my opinion. There's a diagonal car that's located between the two metal red doors down the left hallway, and it allows them to hold very skinny angles if they choose to push up just slightly. My favorite tactic for clearing this spawn is to bank a grenade without peeking down this hallway, because often this will cause a PMC that is holding that car to move back in their spawn, or at the very least cause a movement noise from them repositioning. After that, you can throw another grenade straight down the hallway, or a flash, but you can throw it towards that door, and then if you need to, you can move further to your right and throw one into their spawn area. If you don't have grenades, just make sure not to peek too wide. Clear the car first, and then move for their spawn, which is that nook on the left. There are 3 doors near their spawn. Keep this in mind as you're gathering info, that if any are open, it's possible that they ran. Hopefully you would have heard that, but remember that all of the doors near that left threat spawn start closed. For those of you that like to be aggressive, this is a very fun spawn point for that. Glass hallway has a lot of cover, and if they want to engage, they pretty much have to charge you, so I don't think pushing into glass hallway is the best strategy. However, the strategy that I like the best when playing aggressive is to push that left hallway and prepare to be third-partied and to fight the glass hallway person if they choose to come in later. If you sprint to the left hallway, the enemy that spawns there may have run through a door or be running towards you in the hall. I highly recommend being ADS'd or aiming down sight before rounding this corner in case they're holding the car or they're right in front of you. If they aren't, you can hold that left wall and push into their spawn. Again, keep in mind, if you play this aggressively, you may need to kill the glass hallway spawn if they are rushing you immediately. If they end up being a third party and they pushed into your old spawn, they could actually be using the same strategy we covered under the strategic approach because they now have your position. So have your stims and painkillers ready. So after clearing, you now have to worry about mid-game rotations and scavs. Once your immediate threats are cleared and you're feeling good about controlling that entire area, the next thing to pay attention to is PMCs rotating through the tunnels or the middle of the map. You know someone's in the middle of the map because it's signaled by wood sounds near the metal staircase and the coats that are mid-map. My favorite way to combat this is to move from the spawn hallways to the hut at the top of the ramp. If you exit any of the red doors that go into the main open area of factory, you will see another forklift halfway down the ramp on the left, and the hut is just on the right of that. Audio is your friend here. The reason for being near the hut is it can be hard to tell if somebody is in the tunnels or rotating through mid-map near the dumpsters and wood floor coat room. The hut allows you to hear the audio shifting from right to left or vice versa while maintaining cover. For this reason, I believe it is one of the best spots on the map to set up and farm experience by baiting and killing scavs near this location. PMCs on the opposite side of the map may loot the office and then move to the rafters on the far end of the open room as well. This is probably your biggest threat from PMCs in the mid-game. You need to be conscious of metal noises. Quick metal noises can be heard on the main level, but extended metal noises signal the metal staircase or someone in the rafters. Don't forget to look up, look towards the breezeway and the concrete hole. The last thing to keep in mind is scav spawns. Being on this side of the map allows for relatively easy scav farming. The one exception to this is when a scav spawns into the tunnels behind you if you've pushed towards the hut. You need to handle them quickly, or think about exfilling through the cellar if you already have a good amount of loot. If they move quickly, they can get behind you with a lot of cover, so be prepared to act. If you have a factory key and you've cleared the area and plan to farm scavs, try unlocking and opening the extract before starting to farm. This has saved me many times. That's it. Hopefully this helps you clear out enemies when you get the forklift spawn. Good luck out there. Hope you have great success on factory.